I don't want to say a macho guy, but a man's man. We were taught to keep everything close to the chest. Growing up in an old school Italian family, so when I was downstairs, I had the iron up against the forehead. I mean, I was ready to check out. And I sat down and had a real talk with God, and I said, what is this all about? What is this for?
This is gonna hurt. It's time for the Suffering Podcast.
You don't sleep. You don't eat right. Because, I mean, don't get me wrong. Right now, I was sitting in 2.5 hours of traffic. And I'm driving.
Don't look at me, look at him.
And I'm a little on the edge right now, but it does calm down once in a while, and you do get moments of relief, and just like you said, you enjoy those moments, and you hold them precious, and that's why I'm here to say don't take anything for granted. When I first got my license, I would drive the car to the corner store to get milk. Now I try to walk and I can't, and I drag my ass to the corner store just to get milk, just to prove that I can still do it.
But I've seen the videos. I've seen you working out.
Yeah, no, man, I tear it up in the gym.
Well, look at him. He's still rock solid.
Nah, this disease is occupying my body right now, but it ain't beating me.
No.
Ain't nothing gonna beat me, I'll tell you that. I'll take the devil and fucking shove it up his ass.
Is there anything that spurs on the shaking more than... Or is it just
when it's like when you get into a stressful situation?
Yeah,
or
that's what I'm saying. Like stress,
anxiety levels get elevated, which could be anything. Today I was watching the Fonz. The thing Richie gets into a motorcycle accident. I'm sitting over there crying like, oh, he's in a coma. And I'm thinking, man,
I know that episode.
If my son wants a motorcycle, fuck that. He ain't getting shit. Get my Dodge Ram with the stars on it.
But how's this changed the way you have? How many children? Two. How's this change the way that you raise your children? Because, you know, you could be the victor or the victim. It's your choice.
I'll give you an example. A friend of mine was a big executive. Says, JC, I'm jealous of you. And I looked at him and I said, bro, what the fuck you jealous of me for? He says, you have time, which I don't have. I'm working 24 hours a day. I don't get to see my kids. And you get to spend every day with them. So if this disease did anything, it allowed me the time. Even though I can't pick them up all the time, I can't play with them all the time, but I get to see them. I get to...
Well, how old are they?
My daughter's 4 and my son is 3.
So they're of the age where they're starting to become aware. Yeah. Did they ever turn around and say, Daddy, why are you shaking?
My son at 2.5 learned the word Parkinson's. So when he sees me shake, he says, my daddy has Parkinson's disease. And so that's, they know the word and they see me shake, but I don't think they know the severity of it yet. Because daddy always hides it from them, you know. And if I'm shaking, I'll play like keepy uppy with the balloon, or I'll make sure that I can do something laying down on my back, but I'll keep them entertained for as long as I can. So I try to deflect them from seeing the full force of this disease, you know.
But I think it's a good thing that they know and they understand at a young age, you know. Yeah. So,
because for the same reason that you tried to shield your father from that, is your father still with us?
No, he passed.
He passed. Do you think that was the right way to do it?
When you see your father cry, it just tears you up inside. And that was my main man. And to see him cry, I'd probably do it again and keep him out of this.
Yeah.
Because he was battling lung cancer, and he was a strong man, a warrior. That was a true warrior. He'd go through a surgery and just be like, I'll see you on the other side, kid, if I don't make it through. So, but would I do things differently? If I didn't come the path that I came, I wouldn't be where I'm at right now. So would I do it the same way? Definitely.
Lesson number 1, don't go into houses that are filled with smoke for holidays. That's lesson number 1. You know what, though? See, I have a different view, respectfully. No. I'm not in your shoes, so I would never want to rob that time, especially with your children. You know, we're all, whether we got Parkinson's or not, we're not here forever.
No, without a doubt.
You know, and I look at my 13-year-old, and I've said this to myself, I've said this to my wife, I said this to myself. Mike knows how close I am with my kids. I got 5 years left, and he's out on his own. You know, he's out off to college, going doing his own thing. Well,
they usually come back and sleep on your couch for another 20
years. If you grew him up in my house, I don't think he's gonna. No, but anyway,
they still have the plastic on the couch. Come on, they don't want to come back and sleep on that.
But you know, that's the way I look at it. Right. So those 5 years that I got left with him are so precious to me that I try my best to make every day count. Now, do I succeed all the time? 100% no. 100% no. I'm doing stuff here. I do have a job and 100 other things, but I do coach them in football. I make sure I spend as much time with them, and I think that's the important lesson. Like, you have time.
Exactly.
You know, that's the one thing they're not making any more of.
No. You can make a lot of things, but you can't make time. Time never slows down.
No, sir.
So after your diagnosis, you said you fell into a deep depression, understandably.
Yeah.
So was it who was your caretaker?
You know, I was going to therapy, and this just wasn't connecting. And you think your life is over when you go from being 250 pounds in the gym, rocking 315, 325, swinging sledgehammers, getting down, to this where you can't even really control your hand movement. Who's your caretaker? It's either the devil or God. I've seen both. I've been down in my basement many a nights contemplating some real bad shit, and the demons almost try to take you over. And thank God for faith and love and family. But it's not easy.
Well, so Stu, you had a similar come to Jesus moment in your life as well.
Well, thank God, number one, I'm blessed to be sitting here today, because me personally, I mean,
that's because you're sitting next to me.
Yeah, thank God. Well, I got next to this guy.
So actually, there's a Hoboken cop, not Mike DePalma. There's another Hoboken cop that actually is a school resource officer in the town that I live in, John Arico.
Right.
And I said, "Oh yeah, I know DePalma, I know Stewie, and they look, I know Benny Love, and everybody says Stewie is a fucking maniac." That's everybody says the same thing.
I was an addict, man. I was just, you know, my end was just, you know, embarrassing my family. You know, like JC's story is a lot different than mine, because JC had it thrust upon him. Mine was not self-inflicted, but I had that addict gene in me. It was there. So I loved the street and all the action and just getting high and just put myself into a hole. And like I said, I had that moment. I saw myself in the mirror, like in a car, and I was like, fuck you doing, man? You throwing the towel in, man. And this moment of clarity, whatever you want to call it, and I'm on this path, you know. And let me just say something about this man right here sitting next to me. Now, this is the first time me and JC see each other in person. I've never met him yet. You know,
really?
we've talked for the past maybe how many months, JC? 6 months on the phone. We met through John Lupo, a friend of the show's.
Johnny Blaze.
Johnny Blaze, kid. Johnny Blaze.
So I got a story about Johnny Blaze.
Go.
So Johnny Blaze, you gave me his phone number, right? You know, Johnny Blaze got baptized by the same pastor that's the head of my church, who's a good friend of mine.
I was there. Yeah.
Ron Lewis.
Yeah.
Pastor Ron.
Blaze?
Yeah.
So
we went to the, you know, he got rebaptized Christian, you know.
So Pastor Ron Lewis, the guy who baptized John Lupo, has been in here. Fantastic story of faith. But even Pastor Ron Lewis, your story, you may think you're different, but you're not. You all have that moment. Yours might have come in the basement when you're starting to contemplate some bad stuff, but eventually you got to say, like, what the fuck am I doing? Just like what you said. Was that tell me about that moment.
Comes to a point where you just grab your nuts and say, hey, we're in a fight and we're not going to give up until this fight's over. And I tell you, Parkinson's picked the wrong motherfucker to play with, because I don't get scared. It's going to take a lot to take me down. Even when I'm down, I get up. So I really believe that I was built stronger in the past physically, but God needed to break me down, all the way down. I mean, he took the rug out, the floor, the subfloor, the basement, and he broke me down to zero to build me up mentally and physically and spiritually strong.
Well, they say that God gives his toughest battles to his strongest soldiers.
That's correct. That's correct.
Maybe, I don't want to say maybe you got it because you're strong and you could show people to be strong.
You know, if I asked God, this was about 3 years ago, maybe a little more at this point. I said, if you give me this disease, I'll carry the cross for you, brother. I don't mind that, but make it a productive one.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't make this just another story that dies. Somebody gets put into a home because nobody wants to take care of them. That's what happens to a lot of these people. You get to a point where they're uncontrollable. You don't have the funds to hire a private nurse. And so what do? You put somebody in a home and you forget about them. I'll be damned if I'm going in a home. I'll be damned if this disease is going to stop me.
But see, and the thing is, you have a great attitude about it. You could help people.
Well,
your suffering could be someone else's gain.
You know,
like we talked about Michael J. Fox before. He's like the pioneer of
definitely
of Parkinson's.
Nobody was ever really fighting hard for Parkinson's. Here's an argument for you, JC, because since you were a Mason,
right,
and it's going to have a lot to do with you. Try building. Did you ever try to build a house on a foundation that's that's shitty?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
fucking the house falls right down. But when you're broken down to the foundation, you got nowhere else to go but up, man. That's when the true, true believing begins.
And this guy's positivity is infectious. I mean, just from the first time that we talked and all that stuff, and JC will get into his acting stuff, later on or whatever. But this man here is just every day. He's never off. Always on, never off, man. Always like, yo, what's up? And I love that. That you guys, you have that energy. Everybody, us four have that energy. He's never off. This guy's never like, Stuart, I'm a little downtown. I want to talk. Always ready to talk. Always ready to bullshit, quote movie lines, everything.
Well, that's how he came into the studio today.
Yeah, exactly.
It was like a comedy routine when we came in here. But with Mike, so Mike and I deal with it a little different just because I know him. When he's quiet, things are not good. Things are not good. But I failed this week. I'm going to bear that cross. I failed this week. But
this doesn't come out for a couple of weeks. So we'll forget about it by then.
But it's as simple as a phone call saying, "Hey, bro, you all right? You good?"
Sometimes as I don't want to say a macho guy, but a man's man, we were taught to keep everything close to the chest. Growing up in an old school Italian family, so when I was downstairs, I had the iron up against the forehead. I mean, I was ready to check out. And I sat down and had a real talk with God. And I said, what is this all about? What is this for? And for some reason, Instagram popped into my head. And I go on Instagram and I get phone calls all the way from Italy to Belgium to all across the world that my relatives are on. And they're like, yo, what are you doing? I'm like, what do you mean, what am I doing? You fucking nuts, you're on the computer telling all your business. Shut that shit down right now. And I'm like, God kind of gave me this idea that I'm giving you this for a reason, kid. I'm going to make you suffer, but at the end of the day, we're going to come out on top. And Michael J. Fox is doing his thing, but there's only one person fighting. The millions of people are fighting. And we got one captain leading the brigade. I mean, we need dozens of Michael J. Foxes, dozens of J.C. Capones out.
Well, but see, I mean, you could do that too. You have the personality to be his second in command, if you want to say that.
Well, let me just say this. That's why JC really wanted to come on here. JC ain't worried about the acting shit. He wanted to promote. He wanted to come on here for this.
Yeah,
of course.
This mission was never about acting. This was acting is hopefully. You ain't got no star power. Nobody's listening to you. I mean, that's the bottom line.
That's why nobody listens to us.
You can be as charismatic, as funny as you want, but, the followers just don't jump on because unless Parkinson's hit you in the face, which every 9 minutes it's tapping somebody on the shoulders now.
9 minutes?
Yeah.
Wow.
And people under the age of 50, every 9 minutes, it's the number one neurological disorder coming up.
So did you ever once think, we when we get hit with any type of suffering, it's, and you start working your way back up, you start thinking, save me, save me, save me. Did you ever think that you're here today, not in this studio, but you're around today because somebody who is going to make a gigantic impact in the world needs you?
Honestly, sir, when I started doing social media, I just did it. And I started off with 10 people, which were all family, then 20 people. And then you start getting messages from Australia, Alaska, California. Hey, kid, I'm battling. I look for you for inspiration. Not many people, but we get all kinds of people that write us, DM us and stuff. And I never thought this was going to be... I just wanted somebody that was on the ledge at 2 in the morning, that didn't want it, that wanted nothing more to life, that didn't see the light anymore, that lost God, to call me. Because I'll stay and fight with you. I'll talk all night. I'm not a therapist. I'm not a doctor. But I got an ear that listens very well. So I just wanted to help people. And in doing so, see, God works in mysterious ways. You go to do right and help people. A guy from California by the name of Grant Singer, a director, sees my video. Now think about this. There's like 10 million Parkinson's patients in the world. There's how many millions and millions of people on Instagram. To find me out of everybody, it's almost like Jesus took my Instagram page and put it on this kid's lap, because that's pretty much the only way he's going to find you.
Kev, you said it just before. There's no such thing as a chance meeting.
There is absolutely no. So the gentleman sitting in the control room right now, Tom Flynn, our new director of advertising and marketing. All right. Do you know how we met? I'm going to tell you how we met. You're never going to believe it. I'm doing a show for my church in New York City. I'm walking past Madison Square Garden with my head down, my glasses on, trying to get to the path. I hate New York City. Walking straight to the path, I hear Kevin Donaldson. Turn around, I'm like, oh, fuck, here we go. Like, here we go. Turn around, and that's this man here. I didn't know this man. I've never seen this man, but he watched our stuff. He got a little hope from our stuff. He doesn't even have a picture on Instagram, so I didn't even know what he looked like. And oddly enough, it's through a connection with Mike DePalma that he found our show. But there's no chance meetings. That man has done amazing things, and he's been with us a very short time. So you going out on Instagram, you getting Parkinson's even. You could go back even further.
Yeah, no, it's...
you getting Parkinson's, there's a purpose for it.
And that's what we...
Tell them the story about the lady calling you and what happened, how you got the part. Tell them.
Listen to this. I'm driving in my truck, and now I get a call. We get all these fucking robocalls all day long, so I keep hanging up the phone. So I see a Californian, I'm hanging up the phone.
The lady.
So finally, this number keeps popping up. I'm like, Jesus, what the fuck did this... So I answer the phone.
Arrogant, probably. Like, what do you want?
Yeah, what do you want? Lady's like, you hang up on me one more time, you're going to throw away a golden fucking ticket. This lady's like 70 years old. She's cursing at me. Poor lady was so indignified. She's like, this is the first time in 35 years I've taken somebody off the internet and actually called them. So I'm like, what do you want? She's like, we got a movie part for you. I was like, a movie? You got the wrong guy. I'm no actor. I said, I'm lucky I'm a guy that shakes the shit out of somebody, but I ain't no actor. And she goes, no, Grant Singer's making a part in the movie for you. And I'm like, all right, you know what, if this is real, because I thought somebody was spoofing with me. So I said, you tell Grant to call me tonight at 7:30 and I'll talk to him in person. She goes, okay, I'll do that. So 7:30 rolls around, I get another phone call from California. It says Grant Singer on the bottom. I'm like, oh shit, this is for real. So
I thought you were gonna say you hung up on him again.
I'm like, yeah, what's
you
up?
were saying, Grant, get that.
So he goes,
oh, your tone changes though. It's hey, what's up? It's not what do you want.
Now it's not like what do you want. Now it's like, oh shit, this is real deal, you know?
You thinking money
so
now.
I'm saying, how can I help you? And he's like, your videos inspired me. And I'm like, my videos, the 30-second clips that I do in my basement, raw, I don't edit them, I mumble half the times. But he's like, no, you inspired me and my family, and we'd like to put you in a movie. And again, you got to thank God for this, because when you get knocked out so many times, you feel like you can't fight anymore. So I told him, I said, respectfully decline. And he goes, what? He says, I'm giving you the opportunity to work with Benicio del Toro, Justin Timberlake, Alicia Silverstone, Dominic Lombardozzi, Mike Beasley, Justin Timberlake, all these people. He's like, are you crazy? I said, you know what, I'm not interested. And I did hang up, but I respectfully hung up. And